Welcome back aboard to DohMance Dawn for our 9th episode of the show. I'm Luke, he, him, sometimes they, them, and I'm joined by my first mate.
Oh, first mate is it now? I remember we had a discussion like we didn't know what was.
Yeah, no, there's the boatswain, who is a very important role but doesn't have the authority of the first mate.
Oh, I like the idea of a first mate. I get like not that much responsibility, but like so much title.
Mm-hmm.
It's the best. Okay. Hi, I'm Janine. She they.
And we are joined because we have a new arc starting by our guest for this week. Would you like to introduce yourself?
No, but I'll do it anyway. Hey, everybody, I'm Jeff, aka the other Jeff on Twitter, and I exist kind of as a foil to Luke.
You really do. People like when I have foils because they look to see me fail and I deserve it.
But really, all I do is I draw out your strengths and I make them more apparent to the viewers.
Mm-hmm. You are the stone that my blade is sharpened against.
That's the kindest thing anyone's ever said to me.
Do y'all want to get a room or something?
I mean, there's a Denny's nearby. We could just go to Denny's. Maybe they have the Han Solo glasses.
Are the ones that kill you?
Uh-huh.
I should also say, please forgive me for not mentioning it earlier, I use he, him pronouns.
Mm-hmm. We won't kill you for that. So Jeff, what
I
is
mean, it's
your...
Pride Month. It's like kind of a. You have to specify if you are or not going to kill somebody because it's kind of kill on sight right now.
Yeah, Pride was a riot and it continues to be.
I don't know how to address that. Like,
Yeah, I love it. I love when that happens.
as the token straight.
Old straight man.
I don't want to just like. Here's the thing, right? Like, this will be cut from the episode, right?
It depends. Could be a good bit.
Look, I exist as an ally, but I don't want to say it because everyone that says it is an asshole.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, no. I mean, the problem is when you try and draw attention to it instead of just...
Exactly. Like, deeds, not words. It's the Megaforce principle of queer allyship.
Mm-hmm. You put $20 to $50 into your queer friends' Venmo or PayPal or whatever they use, and that's what they need.
That's what I need, Jeff.
The problem is, like, I'm the only straight person I know and associate with regularly. I have to budget.
Fair.
We'll talk later.
So, Jeff, what is your experience with The Simpsons?
Well, I watched every episode of it when it was good during my childhood.
So, like the Tracy Ullman shorts and then you got out?
I think I stayed with it through about season 13 or 14 before I kind of stopped caring. Would occasionally tune into it after that point if I was doing nothing else on a Sunday night.
Mm-hmm.
And like around season 17 or 18, I was like, this is actively bad.
Mm-hmm. And what is your experience with One Piece?
None. None piece.
So, yeah, we brought you in for a weird moment. Here's a question, though, because you are a knowledgeable Star Wars fan. Hondo Onaka.
I appreciate your restraint.
Hondo Onaka. Could he hang with Luffy?
Absolutely. Hondo Onaka is... like, obviously he's the captain of a rival pirate crew.
Mm-hmm.
He's going to try to, like, kill or screw over the Straw Hats multiple times. But eventually, because it is Hondo's want he will become a friend.
Eventually, we will get to the Hondo Onaka of One Piece, who I have been told that no, Luke, you were actively wrong for saying this character is the Hondo Onaka of One Piece. But we'll get there when we get there.
Did you ask me to be on the show only to set up the Hondo Onaka thing?
No. That was
It's okay
literally
if the answer is yes.
no. Earlier today, I was just like, I need to ask Jeff, our standard guest question, and I
And
was
he
just
was wondering how he could be able to get Hondo Onaka inside of the conversation.
mm-hmm.
Oh, that's
Oh,
easy with me.
you always got a Hondo Onaka. Jeff, do you watch sub or dub?
I watched the dub because I'm a Philistine.
No, I mean I watch the dub too because I typically watch while I work.
Oh,
Me
I thought
too.
better of you, and I bet that you had watched the sub.
For a lot of shows I will, but again, I watched this while I was multitasking,
Mm-hmm.
and so I just wanted to make it easier on myself.
Which is completely fair. This is a show that we do for fun and for goofs and for bits. Speaking of goofs, I had a last episode. We didn't put Sam on the list because once again the One Piece wiki has failed me. So we'll be ranking Sam here, which is ironic because he actually has a full on called out appearance, and we'll kind of go into his weirdness. But this week we're going to be discussing episodes 46 through 53 of One Piece. But we also have an episode where during the runtime of August 23rd through October 25th in the year 2000, there were Simpsons episodes. There was Treehouse of Horror 11, which had the Homer Ghost Dad, the weird Hansel and Gretel, and then a section of story that I always think comes earlier because it's actually very good, which is the dolphin attack.
I can't remember that one. I was trying so hard.
There's also A Tale of Two Springfields, where they break up over the new area code and Homer becomes the mayor. Insane Clown Poppy, which is one that is a late era of Simpsons is bad, or an early era of Simpsons was bad bit that everyone remembers because this is where Johnny Tight Lips comes from. Lisa the Tree Hugger, where Lisa tries to protect a tree. Homer versus Dignity, where Homer becomes Burns' prank monkey. The Computer War Menace Shoes, that has the Long Prisoner parody. The Great Money Caper, where Homer and Bart start running grifts. Skinner's Sense of Snow, which is the one where they all get snowed in. And Home R, where Homer removes a crayon in his brain and he gets smart, but he's unhappy. Y'all got any other memories for those?
This is the Treehouse of Horror with the monsters intro,
I
which
believe.
is great because nearly everybody dies, and then there's a random usual suspects riff.
Sure.
But other than that, like this is a run of episodes that is like a harbinger, right? Because like this is where you really there are a lot of episodes in this block where like things just stop.
Mm-hmm. Or it's kind of like it goes too far, weirdly.
Like I feel like every one of these episodes, if I were to go like read an oral history of The Simpsons, someone would be like, "Yeah, we kind of got bored or gave up during the making of every one of these."
Fair. So some new characters who we have access to include Saint Peter, the band The Who, Tom Wolfe, Stephen King, Tom Clancy, The Noid, Veronica Lodge, Diablo, Nibbles, and the Christmas Hobgoblin. Also Bill Pullman, R.I.P.
Mourn you till I join you.
Mm-hmm. Shout out to a real one. But yeah, the One Piece episodes that we are covering this week are Following the Straw Hat, Little Buggy's Big Adventure.
You've been waiting for it. The return of Captain Buggy.
The town of the beginning and the end. Arrival at Logtown.
Sendai Katetsu and Yubashiri, Zoro's new swords and the female Master Chief Petty Officer.
Usopp versus Daddy the Father. Showdown at high noon.
A burning culinary battle. Sanji versus the gorgeous chef.
Buggy's Revenge, the man who smiles at the execution platform.
The legend has begun. Head to the Grand Line.
Yeah, so Jeff, you went in very blind, and to add some context that you were lacking, in the One Piece manga, they will do stories told over the chapter covers, which is a way to like show things that might not ever become relevant to the series, and sometimes they get adapted. Initially, they did, and then they just stopped at a point for unknown reasons, which is wild because they also have a lot of fans complaining that it's like you waste a lot of time on non-canon episodes and arcs, and that's what we'll be dealing with next week. But yeah, Buggy's story was initially told over like a series of 20 single panel images, which you went in not knowing who Buggy is, and
That's correct.
what was that like for you?
My main impression of Captain Buggy is that his English dubbed voice actor is like, what if Megatron and Starscream were the same person?
Wow. Wow.
I thought that he was like just a little guy
Mm-hmm.
for most of these two episodes where he's like the main, the A plot.
Mm-hmm.
So I was stunned when I found out that his torso was just like hanging out without him.
Yeah. Oh, One Piece is wild. His voice actor, you watched Dragon Ball, right, Jeff?
A little.
You know Master Roshi?
Yes.
Same voice actor.
Ah, that makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
'Cause
Yeah,
I'm a Toonami child.
I figured. Uh yeah, it's wild. Also, importantly spelled out in the One Piece canon, unlike the coward Stanley RIP, Buggy's cock can also detach from his body and just fly around on its own.
Well, I was thinking once, what a great story for a comic book it would be.
uh,
No,
uh,
I'm not going to have Stanley take credit for anything there.
oh yeah, no. I just find it funny that pretty much Ichiro Oda, the writer and creator of the series, will just do question segments, and that was like one of the first things that was asked. And he's like,
Of
"Yes,
course it
of course it
was.
does."
Tell us about the clown cock.
Yeah. So, basically, this is a episode that's a series of misadventures while Buggy's torso is missing. He almost gets eaten by a bird, but he tastes really bad. He runs into Gaimon from a previous episode, and they get drunk together. Uh,
Which
the
episode, Luke?
the one where
Play
they
play the thing. Just play the music. You have
what
the button.
this one?
Oh my god, no.
Oh, sorry. It's 9 o'clock on a Friday. The regular crowd shuffles in.
You argued so much that Gaimon should be. They're good. So
Mhm.
hard.
Yes, Thurgood Stubbs is our Gaimon.
Yes, yes.
Yeah, while Buggy is leaving the island, he gets attacked by a giant crab and is saved by a mysterious woman. Meanwhile, his crew set off, held a memorial for the parts of his body they had. His commanders have a fight over who gets to be the new captain, and Richie the Lion ends up winning. but then they get captured by a cannibal tribe, and Buggy ends up saving them all, reuniting the crew.
Can I pause here
Yeah.
really quick?
Mm-hmm.
Again, going into this cold and not having any familiarity with these characters, there's a bit in this section here where Richie the Lion has a dream sequence about
Yes.
becoming like a pirate king,
Uh-huh.
and it's like the sickest shit. He
Uh-huh.
kills a dragon.
Yeah.
He's like a giant lion man wearing like this awesome like pirate frock coat. It rules.
Mm-hmm.
That's all I
Yeah.
had to add.
Oh, yeah. No, like the
It's like 30 seconds. I can't. There's not much more to it.
no, the Pirate Dream segment is like one of those things that was on the cover. Like it's just him knocking out the other two. And yeah, it's a wild time. Like when you have to put in filler for these filler episodes and kind of
Wow.
like work in between. You get some stuff. I mean, you get Buggy saying that he loves like two things, and it's hard to tell if he says he loves boobs or booze. And I'm pretty sure it says booze.
I thought it was booze, yeah.
Yeah.
But I did pause and like go back 10 seconds.
Hmm. So the Jenny, did you have any commentary on this?
I thought it was very adorable for a man that we were supposed to be so afraid of, like just episodes earlier.
Oh, yeah, no, that's completely true. Buggy is one of Oda's favorite characters, and it kind of like shows. He's just like, yeah, no, do weird shit with this guy. Hey, folks, this is Luke, just trying to clarify something that happens in the next segment. We recorded very late at the end of a long week, and I mix up Kuina and Tashigi. So when I say Kuina, I meant Tashigi, and when I said Tashigi, I meant Kuina. Kuina is Zoro's friend who he grew up with who died, and Tashigi is the military officer who looks just like her. So I want to clarify that because I really fuck it up. So the party ends up landing in Loguetown, where Gold Roger was born and later executed, and they split up. And Captain Smoker finds out that Monkey D. Luffy is on the way, plans to catch him, but specifically doesn't see the poster. So when Luffy asks him for directions to find out where the execution spot is, Smoker gives them. And then Luffy just has a horrible sense of direction, wanders into a pirate bar. Meanwhile, Zoro meets Kuina, a clumsy member of the Marines who looks like Tashigi, his friend growing up, who died, or in the Four Kids version, which made this so much worse, had a disease and then just stopped showing up.
What?
Yeah. Zoro accidentally breaks her glasses. And well, in the bar, Luffy meets Raoul, a bartender who talks to him about Gold Roger and sees a same spark. Smoker almost finds Luffy in there, but just misses out once again. And then that is where he sees Luffy's wanted poster and knows that, oh, that's Luffy who I need to catch, and I know where he will be. So Luffy is climbing the execution platform like you do. Smoker finds him, challenges him to a fight, but instead Luffy is just kind of fucking around, and they needed to draw out the episode a bit more. So he gets launched into the sky across the town. Meanwhile, Zoro is forced to clean the Navy base by Tashigi to pay her back for her glasses, and uses his three swords fighting technique to do it, and it's great. And then also he just beats up some guards, and I guess gives leaves their money behind to pay for their glasses.
Yeah, I was really unclear about that. Like, I don't know where he got money from, but
I mean, it would be great if it was like, oh yeah, I robbed your subordinates. Here's their money. So Zoro wanders into a sword shop, and the owner tries to cheat him out of his sword. That's when Tashigi comes in, picking up her own sword, and reveals that Zoro's sword that he got from the school. is a legendary quality blade. Zoro then tries to find cheap swords because he always has to have three of them. Finds a legendary cursed blade, tests it, and is like, "Yeah, I can take this very cursed blade." And then the shopkeeper, amazed at his skill, gives him the best sword that he has for free. Meanwhile, the buggy pirates are looking for Luffy across the town and keep barely missing each other. Kuina, meanwhile, meets up with Smokey, and Daddy Masterson, a former Marine sniper turned bounty hunter, drops off some bounties. Usopp, meanwhile, is trying to find some goggles for his sniping as part of the shopping that he's doing, but he ends up losing out to those goggles to a young girl named Carol who buys them. And he's like, "Hey, I've got this 30 million berry bounty, so you should give me that." And she's like, "Oh, my dad's a bounty hunter. My dad is Daddy Masterson," which, what a fucking wild and great name.
I appreciate the part in the episode where the Marines just all call him Daddy the Father,
Mm-hmm.
which implies to me that like his birth name is Daddy Masterson.
And he's known just specifically for being a father, despite the fact
Right.
that he is also a sniper, also a bounty hunter. Like, no, we already have Daddy the bounty hunter. We already have Daddy the sniper.
Also, just a huge dude who's carrying around 30 handguns all the time.
Well, and it's even wilder because if you're basing the names on the Japanese names, which is typically how this is done, his name would technically in English be Masterson Daddy. It it's very wild. Because yeah, he just looks like a standard cowboy. Anyways, we find out that Yasop, Usopp's dad, beat Daddy in a battle, but spared his life when he found out that he had a daughter. And Usopp realizes that Daddy told him this story because he tried to get out of a duel, and so he decides to be brave and is given a difficult shot to hit, or else he would be killed. And he takes the shot and hits it, and Daddy tells Usopp to go find his dad, and Carol gives him the goggles that he wants. Meanwhile, a chef named Carmen and her two apprentices, Leo and Jose, challenge Sanji to a cooking contest, but he turns her down. Uh, Sanji goes to buy fish and sees a fresh elephant bluefin tuna, a fish that he always wanted to cook, but they won't sell it to him because it's a prize and cooking contest. So he enters it. It's a contest that Carmen challenged him to, and he wins. And Carmen weirdly forfeits. Like that whole arc is weird. Like,
Like
what's the point?
they're about to call it for like they start to say Sanji's name.
Mm-hmm.
And she's like, enough. But like, can I be real for a second?
Yeah.
Carmen's whose food would you rather have eaten there? And like Sanji's dish looks great. It's like a filet mignon
Mm-hmm.
with some pommes frites and a little fish cake. There's like some fried kippers. There's a soup, like a ceviche maybe.
Mm-hmm.
And there's like something else there as well. It's a good spread. Like good comfort food, probably very tasty. Sanji, great cook. Carmen went all out. There's like a whole king crab. There's just like meticulously crafted sushi rolls. I don't know. I did not look at those dishes and go like, oh, Sanjay absolutely is the winner here.
Yeah. No, I can see that. I mean, normally with like anime food, it's kind of infamous for being like, you want to eat that. And here, it's all kind of rendered the same way. Like, the only thing that they gave was like Carmen spending a lot of time trying to distract people and doing fancy tricks, while Sanji knows the fundamentals.
I will say, like, there's a shot of Sanji whisking eggs, primo technique.
Also, what the hell is up with Carmen's backstory?
Oh, yeah, where she just lies and has no concept of time. And also, Min wouldn't allow her into the kitchen, and so she was jealous of Sanji for being allowed into the kitchen.
I like That's fine. That's a good motivation, but I think like the part where it kind of sucks is like, and I'm still not good enough.
Yeah, it's filler as hell. Like in the manga, or Sanji is just like, oh hey, look, it's all these fish coming from all the different seas, and they're really fresh. That's great. I'm going to buy these fish. That story in the Daddy Masterson story is 100% filler.
So like going forward over the next like 950 episodes of the show, finding a mythical sea with fish from every part of the planet is not going to be like the driving storyline of One Piece.
Oh no, that is Sanji's still driving storyline until you get into the stuff with his backstory, which is wild, and I'd say things, but it's hundreds of episodes off, and it would be major spoilers that Janine, I don't think you would believe.
Uh, I mean, there's a lot of things you could tell me that will happen in the next episode that I would have a hard time believing.
The next arc is just like, oh, here's a magical dragon named Grandpa. We need to help Grandpa get home.
See, what the fuck?
All right. A loose wind brings Luffy's hat and Luffy back to the execution platform where Buggy and Smoker are headed. Alvida reintroduces herself, and Luffy doesn't remember her, but she ate the Slim Slim fruit, which made her very thin and slippery. And it's like, sure. Buggy's pirate crew appears and starts to cause a panic. Luffy gets trapped on the execution platform, and Buggy prepares to execute him as a storm is rolling in rapidly. And the Straw Hat crew hears all of this. Nami realizes they also need to go and protect the Going Merry, which is where Moji and Richie the Lion are waiting to destroy the ship. Smoker decides to hold off and wait and see what Buggy is going to do. And when Buggy raises his sword to decapitate Luffy, who declares that he is still going to be king of the pirates, Sanji and Zoro show up. Kuina finally realizes who Zoro is. The duo rush to save their captain, and when Buggy moves to chop off Luffy's head, Luffy smiles, lightning strikes, and the sword and the platform are destroyed, freeing Luffy. Smoker goes in the chaos with the Marines to try and capture everyone. Most of the Buggy pirates get captured despite Buggy's new ability, which is turning into a car, which is great. And Nami and Usopp find Moji and Richie trying to burn the ship down, but it's raining. And then the Marines show up, so back in the fight, Tashigi tries to fight Zoro. He easily defeats her, spares her life, and she calls him out for it as some sexist bullshit, which she's not wrong. Smoker confronts Luffy, and Nami sets sail with Usopp. Luffy is unable to escape Smoker, can't even land a punch without any actual impact, and that is when a mysterious figure named Dragon stops Smoker. A massive gale rushes into the town. Luffy gathers up the rest of his crew onto the ship, and they head off towards the Grand Line. Smoker decides to follow Luffy along with Tashiki, and Buggy's crew, who also escaped in the wind, similarly heads off to the Grand Line. It's a bunch of stuff. So, Jeff, any other comments on the story?
This is wild.
And I mean, you understand what Luffy's deal is, right?
He wants to be the king of the pirates, and he ate a magic fruit that gives him stretchy powers.
I mean, you might also say,
his name is Luffy. That's Monkey D. Luffy. King of the pirates. He's made a rubber. How did that happen? Yo ho ho, he took a bite of gum gum.
I promise you I will never say that.
I understand that you are taking the coward's path, and I respect you for it, Jeff.
I do have to say I stand Tashigi quite hard because I'm here for anyone who gets pissed off that someone didn't murder them.
Right.
uh, yeah, Toshigi is very good. But now we got our characters to match, and we have 25 of them to get through. And we also have our first listener slash Twitter suggestions for our first character, which would be Hanger. And let's go over people's Twitter suggestions because I feel like I made a confusing tweet when I said that it was a very important character. Hanger's not important. Like Hanger shows up for 3 seconds, if that.
But what if?
Mm-hmm.
What if Hanger is an important character?
Mm-hmm.
Because what is Hanger if not a rejection of the rude shopkeeper in Pretty Woman? Nami comes
Whoa.
in, she treats Hanger like garbage, pays for nothing, treats her with kindness and respect the entire time.
Mm-hmm.
Now, I understand, as do we all, that the customer is always right is a phrase that has been bastardized by years and years of misuse. However, great customer service.
The fans suggested either the yes guy or John Waters' character. Jeff, who was your suggestions for Hanger?
I didn't know I had homework. Uh,
Did you not have suggestions for the characters?
I didn't know it was every character. There's 25 characters.
Yes. That's
Also, as a note to the listener,
Uh-huh.
reader, God, as a note to the listener, as soon as Luke asked me to be on the show, I gave up on attempting to listen to the show, so I know very little about the format.
Okay,
I am Luke's foil.
so you can just say no or none. So
I like John Waters. He has a very John Waters vibe.
All right, Janine, what do you have for Hanger?
I have the House of Evil Shopkeeper.
Is that the Frogurt guy?
Yes, the Frogurt guy.
Mm-hmm. And only House of Evil shopkeeper?
Yes, because I didn't quite disagree with the idea of the yes guy. I mean, like, I feel like the yes guy could be something that we could throw inside um of the race.
Mm-hmm.
I kind of want to back that. And I know you're a bit hesitant to release him. I know how much the character means to you, and I respect that.
Mm-hmm.
But
I mean, I'd also say that with the yes guy, there's actually 4 different variations, not counting the canonical variation of him from Uruguay.
they gave him a backstory.
Oh, no, there's just one who specifically lives in a different country and replies in Portuguese, I believe.
Oh, okay.
I can't wait to have to correct myself on that next episode. All right. Well,
You set yourself up for your DohMance now.
Mm-hmm. So I had 3 suggestions. One of them was the owner of the Vast Waistband. One of them was Armando, the barber at Perm Bank, and the last was the Royal Majesty salesman, who is the salesman who Homer goes to get a suit from in Simpson and Delilah, where he gets hair. We're all just playing rare cuts here, except for Yes Guy and John, which I feel like
Let's go ahead and burn our listeners with that. No more obscure Simpsons characters, people who actually take the time to listen to us. Or
I mean,
follow us on Twitter at least.
Janine,
Yes.
You know that only by like seeing how seriously I took this did you strive to get better. And you have vastly improved on your suggestions.
Wow. Okay.
No, that is not meant it as a backhanded compliment. It is a true compliment that you have grown in your abilities since episode 1. I look forward to seeing what you have as suggestions.
Are
I'm
are
saying,
are you Miyagiing me with podcasts?
wax on, wax off. But yeah, I think House of Shopkeeper or House of Evil Shopkeeper is probably a bit too much of a character to burn on Hanger. Like
Too
Hanger,
much of a character.
yeah, like
Like
he has a certain vibe.
the only thing that makes me kind of like feel a little bit hopeful after you say that is maybe there's going to be somebody who's going to be weird and selling cursed items exactly like that one character. But
Yes, I mean literally in this episode we talked about a guy who sells Zoro a cursed sword.
okay, point taken. You win this one, Luke.
We both win.
The
'Cause I
listener
think-
wins.
Jeff, what did you think of our choices then? Like what where do you what are you backing?
Oh, this is tough. Because I do think the House of Evil Shopkeeper is better fit later in this list. So I think I gotta lean Luke on this one. I'm sorry, Janine.
All right. It was a clean vote. I'm going to respect the results. Luke, what was your number 1 on that one?
I believe that would be Vast Waistband owner. Up next, we have Ed, a guy who sells, or a guy who lies about a lot of items that he is trying to sell to Usopp. I'll go first with the 3 that I had here because, you know what? I am also open to being lambasted. Up first, I had Orville Redenbacher. Just Orville Redenbacher vibe from Ed. I also had the cable guy who tries to hook up Ned Flanders and then actually hooks up Homer with free cable. And then I also had, from that same episode, Hezron, carver of graven images, who's a bit of a Lenny variant. Janine, who do you have?
I was thinking about burning Lyle Landley. Just the visual appeal of it, just the look of it. Like to be honest, like I was half thinking about like the cover art possibilities for it.
I mean, are you thinking that Ed would make it to the cover for this one?
If we chose Lyle Landley, very likely.
I mean, I know it's the Ooter pile, but like Lyle Lanley is a character who people have feelings for.
That's true.
Jeff, are you? Do you want to admit something?
I've got a non-traditional choice. Let me throw this out.
Mhm.
What do we know about Ed? He is an obsequious shopkeeper, and he runs a store that only services a very, very exclusive clientele.
Mhm.
This man is Ned Flanders.
Huh.
Now, I know what you're thinking. You're thinking this is a ridiculous waste of Ned Flanders. And you're right. However, perhaps we're both right.
Oh.
What is Love Pirates, which a wiki has told me is the name of this store, if not the Leftorium?
That is a very strong argument.
Oh, I like that I put in a star system this year or this episode for like how important characters would be, and
I
No, we
also have to admit that I thought the star system was how cool the characters were.
oh,
Because the only two that are 5 stars are Smoker and Tashigi, and both of them rule.
so you don't think that Ed rules, or you think that I don't think that Ed rules?
I think that we agree that Ed doesn't rule. I have notes about some other folks, but Ed, spot on.
All right. I feel like, in terms of grifters, there is a better future for Lyle Landley, and definitely a better fit for Ned Flanders.
All right. I would go with Cable Guy though.
Jeff, are you willing to condone Cable Guy?
Yeah.
All right, all right. I appreciate that. Up next, we have Smoker, who I feel like everyone should have strong opinions on. Janine, who you feeling for Smoker?
Bending Rodriguez.
He has not premiered in Simpsons at this point.
What? I thought he had him in like the other one.
In the future episode? No, because there
Oh,
is
he had a
some
cameo already.
No. Oh, yes, there is. Yes. Yep, because he shows up on the Fox PBS donation style panel.
Yes.
Mm-hmm. And do you only have Bender?
The second thing I have written down here is what's keeping me from blowing Homer?
His blue pants. All right, Jeff, who did you have for Smoker?
So, go on a journey with me.
Uh-huh.
Gray hair, blue pants, aficionado of cigars, physically big, but not let go. This is Fit Fat Tony.
Fit Fat Tony is not premiered yet at this point, Jeff.
You keep giving me these rules that I should have known about if I cared more.
That's like playing any role-playing game with Luke.
Yes. You know that I am very lawful good. I love rules. Especially pointless ones.
Season 22?
Yeah.
That's too far away. Come on.
I'm sorry, Jeff. We wanted to use Johnny Tightlips last episode, and we couldn't.
I mean, we can now. It is premiered.
Yes, we finally have access to sweet, sweet Johnny Tightlips.
That's a good compromise choice.
Are you putting that in as your backup?
Yes.
Oh, as a fun fact, in the 4Kids version, they had to digitally remove Smoker's cigars. And instead, he was named Chaser.
Wow. As a trans woman, wow.
Yeah, it's great because, you know, the guy's just always sitting in smoky rooms, and he has things that look like cigars on him, but aren't.
Those are Imperial Code cylinders.
Many Bothans died.
He just likes having 2 kazoos in his mouth at all times, just a silly guy.
I mean, Sanji, they just replaced his cigar with a lollipop. All right, so I have 3 suggestions for Smoker. One of them I don't quite remember. The first one is Dan Brodka, the mall cop who stops Bart from stealing Bone Storm. and who is a similarly relentless figure with a care for justice. Up next, I have McBain, specifically not the movie actor Rainier Wolfcastle, but McBain, the action hero. Similarly, very big. And then the last I have Smoker, and I'm not finding what character I wanted to buy because apparently Simpsons did a episode about smoked pork that guest starred Alton Brown.
Weird.
Mm-hmm. Oh, here it is. Oh, the smoker was the guy from Homer Palooza who just has like 80 cigarettes in his mouth at the same time.
Wow.
So, consulting some source material here, I've discovered that Don Brodka is a Marine Corps veteran, and that seems like it tips the scale.
Also, much less humorous than I think McBain is. Smoker doesn't make puns.
But the McBain would be such a better cover art.
I can go either way.
I appreciate Janine's commitment to aesthetics.
Mm-hmm.
I'm just afraid, personally. Personally, for me, I'm afraid that we're never gonna find a little home for Bender.
There's robots later in the series.
In the pirate show,
Yes.
there's robots.
Mm-hmm.
There's 1,000 episodes.
Yeah, no, there is literally a series of cover chapters where a guy goes to the moon and meets up with a bunch of aliens.
What the fuck is this show?
Uh huh. Okay, so I feel like Brodka's got more of the aesthetic, even though he is definitely much less fit than a McBain.
All right, hit it with the Brodka.
All right, let's all take a shot of Brodka as our smoker. We then have Mashikaku, who, recurring bit character, is a photographer and also just handles like various information for Smoker and that Navy branch. For him, I have police photographer or Don Mattingly because sideburns. Janine, who do you have for Mashikaku?
I had. Okay. Full disclosure.
Mm-hmm.
I might have been relaxing a little bit with certain substances when I wrote down these two choices, and I remember why. I was like, I don't know what this character is going to be like in the future. So I was like, I have to prepare something for if this person is going to be really cool or really a square.
Mm-hmm.
So for really cool, I was just like, let's just throw down Automan right now as a placeholder that I never picked up. And then through that in the wiki page, I was like, oh look, Admiral Man, his father, looks like kind of a hard ass. And look at that, in the Navy. And the trivia on this guy was he's called Navy A inside the dub. It kind of seemed to fit.
Fair.
I also got an Auto vibe from this dude. Like affable, not useful. Likely to just like start surfing in the middle of any situation.
Mm-hmm.
Easily beaten by Zorro.
You know what? I feel like I've been running this too much. So both of y'all want to go with Automan. I'm willing to burn Automan here.
Nice.
We then have you, who is a tiny girl who spills her ice or or her ice cream is eaten all up by Smoker's silly pants. Which I had to go and like look at the sub and see, is this what they say in Japan? And yes, I am sorry, little girl. My silly pants ate all your ice cream.
Yeah, it's adorable. He's actively like smoking 2 cigars like right at her. He's just like, whoopsie doodle, silly pants.
I appreciate here that Smoker gives her money to buy twice as much ice cream as she spills.
Mm-hmm. Really, he's just planning to feed his silly pants once again. Uh so Jeff, who do you have? Do you have anyone for you?
Of course not.
The coward's route. I appreciate it. Janine.
I know who I am.
Okay, I have one,
Mm-hmm.
but I'm so passionate about this.
Okay, give me that passion.
All right, it's the little girl that is in Uncle Moe's when Moe tried to make it a family restaurant, who said that her sody was too cold and her teeth hurt.
You know, I feel like that is a good one.
I live for these moments.
You know, I love to be impressed. I am quickly seeing if they have a
An actual name?
yes, because it's Simpsons. It's weird where they do have a name or where they don't have a name. You know, we all just have to vamp for time sometimes as we are scrolling down the page trying to find out if there is a name. Okay, yep, that would be Samantha Stanky lookalike.
Okay. I did notice how it was like very simpler because I do believe we did use Samantha Stanky before.
Yes, I believe we did. She is our Kaya.
Ah, that's a good pick for that one.
Mm-hmm. Because she could murder Mary. The two that I had for this was just I didn't have a good idea. So I had Mackie Simpson, but then I also had Poor Violet. I really like the Samantha Stanky lookalike.
I concur.
This is
No
the one
contest.
this is the one victory that I'm gonna hold like throughout the everything else. Like my partner's gonna be like, "Oh, how'd it go?" And I was like, "Oh, I was only like definitely able to get one suggestion like firmly in, but it was like the only thing." And I'll just say, "Oh, it went well, honey. It went really well."
I'll tell Abby, and she'll say that's not hockey. And then I'll say, well, yeah, hockey doesn't come in until later in One Piece. Both the homophone and also the actual sport. Up next we have
Show.
Galley, who, fun fact, was one of the villains in one of the original DohMance Dongs, which were like the pilots for One Piece. Uh, for Galley, I had the Sugar Thief, the sort of British man who sneaks up behind Homer's sugar the brief second he turns his back. Who do you have, Janine?
I actually wasn't able to get this one filled in time, but I'm just kind of floored by that reference because like it's just there's a lot of things that we don't remember until like the exact moment we're recording this, but the show.
Oh, I wouldn't have remembered it had I not. I I'm actively involved in two different Simpsons Facebook groups, and it helps.
I was working on this with the wiki, and I saw so much stuff that I was like pretty intimidated, and I was like, I don't know if this character's previous importance is important to this, or if it's like something that I'll never see this character ever again.
Oh, it's so we see a canonical appearance of him like hundreds of episodes later. But yeah, this he's pretty inconsequential here. So you didn't have anything for Galley,
I did not.
and I assume Jeff, you did not have anything for this strange pirate man.
Have y'all burned the canonical appearance of Blackbeard the pirate yet?
Blackbeard.
Blackbeard.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, now we're like just like searching really fast.
Yeah, absolutely. That's what
Oh,
they're doing.
yep. He was on the Jury of the Damned. He was in The Devil and Homer Simpson. You know what?
We
I'm
can
glad.
use him.
Yeah, Jeff, you did good here,
Thank you.
and I can't wait for Janine in like 5 episodes or so to say, "Wait, Luke, didn't we burn Blackbeard?" And then I'll say, "Yes, we did," because I am planning on using a trump card in the future for something.
Luke, you're history's greatest villain.
Oh yeah, everything is according to Kakaku. Kakaku means plan. We then have Tashigi. Jeff, did you have anyone for Tashigi?
Have you used Selma and or Patty yet?
No.
I think it's Selma.
You're on Team Selma. I did push for Sherry, and then I was going to save Terry for Tashigi, but I did not have the support.
My rationale here is that this is a villain coded character who exists only to be motivated by spite.
Our Kuina is Allison Taylor, Lisa's rival.
Oh. Huh.
So for this one, this was purely aesthetic for me on my choice.
Oh yeah, go ahead.
But we got the blue hair, we got the red glasses, we got that sense of style.
Mm-hmm.
That's anime Luan Van Houten.
Oh God, it is.
Yeah, down to making Jeff hot. It's the same thing.
Did you say anime Luan Van Houten?
Yeah. Is that what episode title possibilities?
Okay. I thought you were making a specific reference to a like anime version of Luan Van Houten.
Oh no.
Yes, Tashigi is the anime version of Luan Van Houten.
You know what? We were saving Luan and separating her from Millhouse because we all had too much respect for her. I'm double checking, and yeah, we have not used her. Millhouse is our Usopp. For reference, Jeff. You know what? Luan Van Houten is better than both of the ones that I had, so I won't even deign to drop them in. You hit this one out of the park, Janine.
I'd just like to take a moment to recognize that I'm bad at this game.
Oh, that was me episode 1. But you know, like it's through going through this learning process and feeding off of Luke's energy, suckling on like it's a
my teat.
yeah, his enthusiasm teat.
All
It's
right.
nourishing is what I mean.
Mm-hmm. It is the equivalent of a Sudoku, except that you're ashamed to say that you've done it. Shame Goku. We then have Koze and Paki, who just great, weird looking designs for folks who then just serve solely to get their asses kicked. I had two sets of characters for them. I had Ramrod and Meathook, the bikers who steal Marge, or also Burglar 1 and Burglar 2 from the couch gag where burglars steal the couch. Janine, you got
Huh.
anything for them?
I had Sam and Larry, if because I didn't know if we used them or not. I couldn't remember, but they were the barflies that are normally at Moe's.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but I'm really liking the idea of using those bikers because I think we might have killed off their leader.
No, those two are the leader.
Those two are the leader. Huh. I still wouldn't mind using them.
Okay.
Both
Jeff,
serving the same. Sorry.
yeah,
They both serve the same purpose of just being bad guys for just one episode.
in a few seconds at that.
Yeah, I think the ice cream girl gets more screen time than either of these two.
Mm-hmm. I'm assuming you have none for these two, Jeff?
That's correct. Had you asked me in advance, I would tell you I didn't think they counted.
Jeff, they have birthdays. They're real people. If
No, they don't, and no, they don't.
Would you like me to look up their birthdays and tell you when their birthdays are?
I had to pair up a bug that just shows up alive for like one frame.
Koze's birthday is. Oh, we just missed it a few weeks ago. It is on May 27th, and Paki's birthday is on December 9th.
Well, happy belated fictional character.
Yeah.
Paki is from Loguetown, but Koze's hometown is unknown.
Huh.
Yeah, One Piece has like factoid books that put superhero stuff to shame. So Ramrod and Meathook.
I think specifically Ramrod is Koze.
Yes. And Paki is Meathook.
That was the inference, yes.
Yes. Okay, that sounds good to me.
We then have Raoul, the bartender, who we get to see him in two different forms, but we're just assigning one character to him. Jeff, did you have anyone for Raoul? Because he did get a decent amount of screen time.
I'm doing some quick research here.
Mm-hmm. Would you like us to come back to you?
I just want to. I'm almost there. I'm gonna go with Joe the bartender from Shelbyville.
The Mo variant.
Yes.
Janine, who are you working with for Raoul?
Well, I was sitting here and I was thinking to myself, what's keeping me from blowing Hans' moment?
He tastes like a peanut. Well, can I level with you, Janine?
Yes.
In my attempts to try and get two characters for most of these folks, I also had Hans Moment on my list, but he was a second choice for me. The first one that I had is a member of the Fightinist Battalion. That would be Etch Westgrim, a member of the Flying Hellfish who has Coke bottle frames, likes to draw a lot, and probably was the team sniper.
I do like that one actually. Because you have like the past where you're kind of a tough guy, but then you kind of have like you're just old now.
Well, he dies on a parade float with most of the other members of the Hellfish.
Oh, that's right.
Because, I mean, I don't want to say Uderpa for Hans Moment, but Hans Moleman's great.
I know you
Raoul,
you have very interesting feelings about Hans Moleman.
uh-huh. He's a poet. A beautiful soul.
Wonderful actor. Have you seen Man Gets Hit in Groin by Football?
I only saw the remake of it that they did. But I mean, the football, the groin. You might say, move me to a bigger house. Yeah, we can do Simpsons references. Uh, so you good with Etch?
Sure.
Jeff, you good with Etch?
Yes.
All right. We then have Ipamatsu, the sword dealer. I had two for him. I had Herman, who we've discussed before, and while Ipamatsu isn't necessarily a major character, we will come back to him every once in a while. I also have ex-convict, who every once in a while I need to go back and see what character I was referring to. Oh, he runs ex-con home security, and he robs people. Not sure why I picked him. Uh, Jeff, did you have anyone for Ippanmatsu?
Yeah, the third Kitetsu blade comes with free Frogurt.
Oh. Janine, who did you have?
Oh, I had Mo Sislak. Um, over the years, we've known Mo to be less than upfront about certain things when it comes to quality
Mm-hmm.
or even authenticity of some food or beer that's around. Surely you've had a doof before.
Who hasn't?
Would Moses like give anything away?
Yes, but it's very rare, and it's those moments where he has been genuinely touched.
Fine.
He does have a very too small for him Grinchonian heart somewhere inside of him.
Mm-hmm.
Um,
I I'm willing to go House of Evil Shopkeeper, just because we had brought that up in the discussion earlier, and while I like Mo, I'm not going to blow up.
I'll agree to House of Evil Shopkeeper if we say it was my idea.
I'll give you shared credit.
Fine deal.
Awesome. We then have Ipanume, his wife. His wife,
I
who
just had the two people that, like, canonically at this point had sex with Mo, so
is left
kind
and
of a
right.
package deal.
Uh, who was that?
The first one was Colette when he had the flaming Moes.
Hmm.
And the second one was Renee, who was guest voiced by Helen Hunt.
Hmm. Snake's ex.
Right.
Helen Hunt dated Snake.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I guess after Paul Reiser, anything else is trading up.
Wow.
Oh. Jeff, did you have anyone for Ipanume?
I did not.
I had Tina Ballerina and also the ice cream lady. I was looking for more full-bodied women, which Colette and Renee don't really fall under. But I feel like, based on your idea to pick people to go with Mo, if we pick the ice cream lady, she would go well with the House of Evil shopkeeper who offers that free Frogurt.
I could see that.
Yeah.
All right.
I'd also like to
A
say
match made in the freezer.
She does bring up good points. Ippon Matsu should show her a little more affection.
We then have It's Time for Daddy Masterson. I went very on the nose with Lee Marvin from the classic musical Paint Your Wagon.
I really like that one.
Yeah.
See, I had Big Daddy on this until I remembered that we used him already
For Arlong.
for Arlong.
Mhm.
It's just we were like 2 episodes away from it, and it had like already just like wiped out of my mind.
Yeah, and we can't do regular Daddy either because we used
We
him
also,
in the first
yeah,
episode. I'm trying to not say blue anymore. uh, so did you have anyone viable for Daddy Masterson?
after that, no.
Oh no, Jeff.
No.
So Lee Marvin, it is. We then have Pete and also the Riley brothers. They were 4 convicts, albeit one of the Riley brothers was dead, who were bounties that Daddy Masterson brought in. Jeff, I'm assuming you don't have anyone for these guys.
Of course I don't, Luke.
No, I believe in surprises. Janine, did you have anyone for Pete or the Riley brothers?
For Pete, I had Cowboy Bob, who in the first season sells Simpsons an RV.
Mm-hmm.
Because he's known as Two Pistol Pete in the quotes. So I was just like, okay, Cowboy Bob, because cowboys have pistols, and it just kind of like same kind of like, oh, fuck this guy energy. And for the
Thank
Riley brothers, like my mother before me, wanted to blow the Who.
I feel like the Who have too many members. I don't know how many members are in the Who.
In every single picture that I've like Googled
There's
for it, there's only 3.
yeah. Oh, that's because the drummer usually gets cut out. Well, for Pete, I had the photographer from Marge Be Not Proud. And then for the Riley brothers, I had the Two Guys from Kabul. There could be more guys from Kabul.
4 guys from Kabul, but one of them is dead.
Mm-hmm. Well, 3 guys from Kabul, but one of them is dead. All right, Janine, I'm willing to go with The Who if we can use the photographer from Marge Be Not Proud.
You got a deal.
And that's what this show is about. Deals. It's like win Binstein's money, except none of us are horrible conservative people.
Thank God for that.
Yeah. Abby and I have been watching Charmed, and there's an episode where they just start watching Win Binstein's money in it because one of them uses a smart spell, and I had to explain Win Binstein's money.
Is this the new Charmed or the old Charmed?
The old Charmed.
That makes more sense, but I also am willing to accept surprises.
Yeah. No, I don't feel like Jimmy Kimmel would be on a game show with Binstein in the year 2022.
I mean more that the sisters on the currently airing CW Charmed would watch Win Ben Stein's money.
They aren't home sick from school in the 90s. We then have Carol, Daddy Masterson's daughter. I had Amber Dempsey, the pageant queen.
Ooh, that's a good one. I had Goldilocks because I was like, I want to use somebody we just unlocked.
That is also very fair. Uh, Jeff, did you have anyone for Carol?
I think my joke answer here is, and again, this is not valid because of the timeline, but the most famous snitch in The Simpsons, and that is Homer Simpson.
I'm very confused.
There's an
Sure.
episode in season 16 where Homer accidentally snitches on Snake.
And then he becomes a prison snitch and starts getting
Yes.
the free stuff from.
And Carol is a fucking snitch.
She is, but I mean, she
Usopp
does
says, "I'm a criminal," and she immediately turns around and says to her cop father, "Check out this criminal over here."
Specifically, her father is a bounty hunter, Jeff.
Look, it's all cops. ACAB includes Daddy the Father. That's your episode title.
All right. You know what? I feel like we might have a better use for Amber Dempsey, so I'm good to go with Goldilocks. The hair fits more. Also, much like police officers, Goldilocks does break into the house and rightfully is eaten. We then have Carmen, the strange red-haired chef lady, and I don't feel like I had a good one for Carmen. I had the ballet teacher who teaches Bart how to do ballet, and also subliminal tape receptionist. I think that was just when I was like, I need to find a red-haired character for Carmen.
I was gonna use Mindy if we didn't already use her, just for sex appeal alone.
Unfortunately, our Mindy is moody.
I feel like I argued for that one too.
That was a joint Luke and Janine from episode 5. Both of us had that. I also had Miss Springfield, and Dylan brought nothing to the table.
I'm going to go with Amber Simpson.
Amber?
Homer's Vegas wife.
Ah, that is a good one. Interesting. So Janine, you have nothing viable for.
I'm gonna back up that Vegas wife one. I mean, if it's premiered yet, right?
Yeah,
I just double checked it. It's
no.
legal.
Yeah, because she first appeared in Viva Ned Flanders, which was like 1999. So over a year or so. We then have Leo and Jose. For Leo, I had the pumpkin-headed man, and for Jose, I had the bullfighter from Carmen the musical, or Carmen the opera. Janine, who are you working with for Leo and Jose?
Oh, okay.
Leo
this
is
one.
horrifying, by the way.
They're both horrifying, by the
Very
way.
strong body horror vibes.
Yeah,
from both of them.
Just wild, non-canonical characters. Because Leo's got a giant head and a huge ass chin, like a caricature, and Jose's nostrils are so big they look like his eyes.
Yeah, I have written down Killer Krusty Doll and Gremlin because they're both belonging in my nightmares.
Which is which?
Oh, Killer Krusty Doll for Leo.
Mm-hmm.
For having the distorted face on something that kind of like sets you off weird. And Jose is Gremlin, something that kind of looks close to human, but just enough so that it like freaks you the fuck out.
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna throw my support behind Janine on this one. I also would like to call out the first time that we see Leo. in which you get a tight close up on his face, and the entire screen is only his head. It is one of the most disturbing things I've seen recently on television, and I've watched both current episodes of The Boys and Stranger Things.
Well, it seems like One Piece has even stranger things. Ugh. All right. I mean, you're throwing your energy behind Janine.
Well, unlike
And,
you, Luke, Janine is my friend.
oh, oh, I need to take a moment.
His name's Olo, he's just like a samurai and a LADY. Nami's not shy. Usopp's doing that marksman thing.
Okay, now I'm back to normal. I like how sometimes it's just slightly slowed down, which makes it seem possessed. Uh yeah, I feel like they're too human to blow. I feel like they're too human to use on the Killer Custody doll and Gremlin.
Are you
Another good
telling me
episode title.
Am I telling you that there is going to be a possessed doll in the future of One Piece? And also a gremlin? Yes.
Jesus fuck. This show gets so much more harder the more it reveals itself to me. It's like the more that I watch, the more I know I don't have not watched.
We haven't
That's
gotten to the part where Luffy fights God. And that's only
sure,
like
sure.
300
You could be
episodes.
fucking with me right now. I don't even know. Is God a character in The Simpsons yet?
Yes.
Then I'm covered there, buddy.
Yeah, if you want to go Killer Krusty Doll and Gremlin, I will just remember this when we get to the arc in question. And I will say, you burned them.
They're gonna be 2 episodes apart, and they're just gonna be just 1, 2, and
All
can't
right.
wait. Can't
So
wait.
Killer Krusty Doll and Gremlin then.
We
We
burned
did have,
Chief Wiggum like episode 1.
yeah, no, I regret burning Chief Wiggum.
The best part about it though is that the fact that we can't use him though, despite the fact that there's been a couple of characters that we probably might have done the same thing, is that kind of it gets us going through some of the more obscure ones to try to find a replacement.
We are getting Wiggum variants though, which
That's true.
we can remember. We did have Minatomo, who is a character who was created because there was a door that got destroyed in an earlier chapter, and then someone was like, "Hey, why was this door destroyed in one page and then repaired later on?" It's Minatomo. He will become a recurring background character.
I'm gonna cop that I don't remember seeing this dude.
He is on very briefly. Yeah, he is a background character who just fixes everything. So he is the One Piece equivalent of a wizard did it.
He's like a reverse Cabbage Man.
No, I wouldn't go that far. Yeah, a reverse Cabbage Man just. I'm trying to figure out the logistics because you're referencing the Avatar: The Last Airbender.
Yes.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. So he's a character that exists in the background, but instead of having his cabbages destroyed, he's repairing things.
Yeah. I I can hear it. Don't fully agree, but I can see it.
One of the great things about America is that we're able to put our differences aside and fuck that. No, do not put your differences aside with anybody.
Gonna be king of the pirates. Uh, so Janine, did you have anyone for Minatomo?
Yes. Have we used Mickey Rooney yet?
No. Had Mickey Rooney appeared in the show yet?
Yes, wasn't he the alternate for Fallout Boy?
Yes, he was. Jeff, did you have anyone for Minatomo?
No.
So I have 3 for Minatomo.
You are too
First,
kind to Minatomo.
I'm fascinated by Minatomo. First is number 1 from the Stonecutters, famously played by Patrick Stewart, because you know the whole we control things from behind the scenes. I then have the janitor from Simpson Tide, and then Mr. Sokovsky, who was Homer and Barney's shop teacher. Because, you know, shop people fix things. Jeff, who are you feeling here?
I honestly don't know. Again, this is a character who I did not visibly register while watching the episode.
There's been a couple of those. There's a guy whose name is Panda Man. His whole thing is just that he shows up in the background. He's wearing like a panda thing,
Matt.
a panda mask, and it's just like, oh, there's Panda Man. That's it. And I missed him. I had to go like find like the screenshot that they took and had up in the wiki of like his appearances. Just be like, oh, like right, that one.
Oh, I was watching ahead uh, because I need something to watch while I do work, and I shouldn't just watch the same bunch of episodes again and again, more than I already do. And it was like, Minatomo appears, and I was like, wait, has that guy appeared yet? And then it's like, oh, yeah, no, he first appears in these episodes, but also the One Piece wiki didn't mention that on the episode page. I was like, well, fuck you. I'm pulling more for Mr. Sokovsky because no one remembers Mr. Sokovsky.
Follow your bliss.
Jane, will you let me follow my bliss?
If I must.
Thank you. We then have Sam, who this is a character who we missed appearing in the end of the last arc. He is similarly a character who a fan was like, "Why did he appear in 2 different segments?" And Sam got drunk at his daughter's wedding, and then continued to get drunk, and he will continue to show up drunk in the series for his various daughters' weddings. For Sam, I had Curly, or Sam the Barfly, who was mentioned earlier in this episode. Curly in question is the drunk from Bloodbath Gulch, who is a active alcoholic.
Ah.
Who do you have for Sam, Janine?
Oh, I have Barney. I was gonna go like as hard as I could go on that one.
Fair. Jeff, did you have anyone for Sam?
I like Sam the Barfly here.
All right, well then let's go with Sam the Barfly. Name coincidence. We then have Soppy, who is a half fish man. And he is the guy who sells Sanji fish and talks to him about fish. Has a rad design. I had 2 characters for him. I had the fisherman from Radio Bart, who offers to get Bart or to get Timmy O'Toole out of the well and then gut him and fish him and clean him. And also, once again, Toshiro, the sushi chef assistant. Janine, who you have for Sapi?
I actually did also have the fisherman because like I just googled Simpsons fisherman, and him and the sea captain were like the first two ones that showed up.
Jeff, did you have anyone for Sapi?
I don't.
All right. So it sounds like we're going with the fisherman from Radio Bart. We got 3 more of these to do. So let's run through them. We have Shutai, a Dr. Seussian looking motherfucker who is a chef contestant who gets knocked out in round 1. I had Lord Thistlewick Flanders. Janine, who did you have?
I had Dr. Zayas. All
Oh,
visual, by the way.
yep. I was trying to figure out the vibe, and yeah, that was what I was missing out on. And I assume, Jeff, none for you?
The French chef from the episode where Homer becomes a chef.
You mean a food critic?
Chef, food critic, it's all the same thing.
Fair enough. I really like Dr. Zayas. Because that's a very ape-like face.
It is.
So, Jeff, you go with Dr. Zayas?
Yeah, I mean, the only justification for my choice is that he's wearing a very large toque.
Mm-hmm. Oh, that's not even the largest toque that we've seen.
Well, you know what? I'm just going to keep my mouth shut.
That's this anime. That's what it does to you. You think to
I
yourself,
guess-
surely we're not going to run into this character that's this niche and has like this like particular thing filled, and then Luke is just like, oh ho ho, but we might.
I feel like I'm watching like RRR a second time.
I guess that toque's pretty big. We then have E. coli, or E. coli. Yeah, this was a point where my brain was just like, fuck, I don't know. And
Is
I
it ecoli? Like broccoli?
Yeah,
Because of his broccoli top knot?
yeah.
Oh my god, that's what it was? I thought it was like E. coli.
Yeah, I think it might be both, considering it's Oda behind it. I just had Wendell Borden because they're both very pale people with curly hair. Janine, who did you have for?
I had Toshiro because I think that they both could possibly kill you. One with fugu and the other one with food poisoning.
And Jeff, did you have anyone?
No.
I'm good to go with Toshiro.
Finally, this is not the first time Toshiro's come up.
No, we have finally used Toshiro. Up last, we've got Dragon. Jeff, did you have anyone for Dragon?
So I don't know if this character has ever appeared before on. Well, no, because he's on the list, so this is his first appearance, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
So my thought is, who is the absolute sickest motherfucker available?
Uh-huh.
And again, not having listened to the show previously, I'm gonna go with Hank Scorpio.
Oh.
Interesting.
Obviously a villain, seems absolutely awesome.
Mm-hmm.
Some kind of like very large weapon deal happening. Not a flamethrower, but transitive property.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
That's my case.
Fair. I do have someone in mind for Scorpio later. Janine. Who do you have?
Sideshow Corporal Punishment.
Pulling up the Simpsons wiki once again. I never even closed it. Thank goodness for having multiple windows, and I hate that they have a page for the Graggle. Y'all know about Graggle, right?
That's a hell of a thing to say out loud.
Graggle,
Educate us on Graggle.
Graggle is a fake Simpsons character that people have just started saying, "Oh yeah, do you remember when Graggle used to be on the show? That was so good." And then they'll edit the Graggle in.
Graggle is a new startup that's looking to disrupt how you think about The Simpsons. So Graggle
Yeah.
is like Glup Shido except for The Simpsons.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, I'm excited any day that I could be able to hear about Glub Shido.
Just a real fan favorite.
I can't believe what happened to Dengar.
What happened to Dengar?
Or no, Dash Rendar. Dash Rendar.
Nothing has happened to Dash Rendar. He's not canonical anymore.
I thought he was now. Because of Obi-Wan.
No. Are you thinking of Corin Horn?
Maybe?
Are you guys just talking about fake Star Wars things that I don't know, or these real Star Wars things that I don't know? Because this is fucking me up.
These are all real Star Wars.
No, there's a guy who kind of looked like Dash Rendar or fucking Mummy Bounty Hunter Man in Obi-Wan, where it's got all those people in the place.
Yeah, but I don't think that was him.
Okay. I'm pretty sure that I would have felt Dylan, not Dylan who's previously been on a guest, but other Dylan's anguish. If it was. For seeing his favorite boy.
Yeah, if Dash Rendar was canon again, I would know because I would immediately taunt Dylan about it.
So for Dragon, I've got the I know what canon is option, and I was just hoping that one of y'all would have something that I could go whole hog in on. Because I love the whole hog. And that is Homer Simpson. Yeah, Dragon's going to be real big. Well, never real big so far, but they're building to it. He's an international terrorist. It's great.
Like Homer Simpson.
Yeah. On his first day, even. Well, you'll have to say it.
What?
Who you want to blow.
My fortune is yours for the taking, but you'll have to find it first. I left everything I own in one piece. My fortune is yours for the taking.
Oh no, it's playing on repeat.
And I just put a pin in this for a second. Yeah. I watched the Funimation dub, and I've got to say, these people had one job. And he says he left the fortune in one place.
Yeah.
Come on!
Oh, that was from the 4Kids dub.
Did I pay $8 to watch the 4Kids dub?
No, I don't think it's actually legally available anywhere. So you can pay $0 and watch, right?
I mean, you could pay $0 to watch anything if you're good.
Yeah. All right. God, I almost said I'm pulling for Homer here. Fuck.
I wish you would have.
I'm pulling for Homer.
I will say that knowing that Dragon is an international terrorist does strengthen my Hank Scorpio case.
Yes, there is just a character who better fits Hank Scorpio coming up in a few arcs, which is passes Jeff's point of this being his problem. But
I
that is me.
mean, you can bring me back every time that you want to subject me to this.
If you want to volunteer to that,
Yeah.
you're gonna get like a lot better at it.
That was not me volunteering.
That's him just admitting that it could happen.
It could happen.
All right. Well, I'm really glad that we didn't have person I was initially going to try and bring on for this episode to also discuss pirate histories, because we would have not had time. I'm pushing for Homer Simpson here.
I'll accept Homer because I've tried so hard last episode to blow him. So
You finally get to blow Homer. All right.
wow, there's a lot of possible episode titles now.
Yes. So a quick recap. Hanger is vast waistband salesman. Ed is cable guy. Smoker is Dan Broadcup. Mashikaku is Otto Man. Yu is Samantha Sankey lookalike. Galley is Blackbeard. Tashigi is Luann Van Houten. Jose is Ramrod. Packy is Meathook. Raul is Etch Westerun. Ippanmatsu is House of Evil shopkeeper. Ippanume is Ice Cream Lady. Daddy Masterson is Lee Marvin. Pete is the photographer from Marge Be Not Proud. The Riley brothers are The Who. Carol is Goldilocks. Carmen is Amber Simpson. Leo is Killer Krusty Doll. Jose is Gremlin. Minatomo is Mr. Sikovsky. Sam is Sam. Sappy is the fisherman from Radio Bart. Shutai is Dr. Zayas. Echolai is Toshiro. And Dragon is Homer Simpson. Woo! So, Jeff.
So, Luke.
Are you now hooked on One Piece?
I have to say, I thought this was a pretty good block of episodes.
Yeah, the next one is a bunch that people normally skip. As a heads up, if you want to keep watching. You don't get that option.
I might.
I have to.
You told me there's a dragon named Grandpa?
Mm-hmm.
I like a dragon.
All right, well, you'll get to see what happens when a bunch of TV writers write the story instead of a manga writer.
That bodes ill.
Yeah. So, Jeff, if people want to find you online, where can they do that?
Please don't. I don't want to be perceived.
That's fair.
But if you need to, if you want to ask me to be on your podcast, or if you want to tell me to come back on Luke's many podcasts because you like what I bring to the table, you can follow me on Twitter at @TheOtherJeff. And I have nothing to plug because my life is meaningless.
Or maybe you find meaning outside of things where you need to attract audiences to them.
Let's go with that.
Or maybe meaning in itself is meaningless. And
wow.
you can just go, man. You could just you know what I mean?
I feel you.
His name is Luffy. That's Monkey D. Luffy.
Okay.
Janine, where can you be found?
You could find me over at Twitter for now at Janine Juliet. You could also be able to find my podcast, My Favorite Pokemon. I haven't taken it down. It's still up there. I haven't updated it in forever, but it exists.
You could find out who Jeff's favorite Pokemon is.
It's Lechonk.
Yep.
I look into his eyes and I feel a kinship.
I mean, if you really want to spend half an hour talking about Lechonk based on like one video that exists out there and like 2 pieces of art, maybe.
I couldn't even do this for an entire episode. Maybe.
Oh. And I am Luke. You can find me on Twitter at Coltreg. That's KOLTREG. And you can find most of my stuff up at lukeher, LUKEHERR.com. Our cover art is by Colt Hoskins, who you can find at Colt Hoskins on Twitter. Thank you again for making all these wonderful covers. Also, thank you again to Bo Quiano, who did the excellent logo work for the show, because I don't think I give them a shout out enough. DohMance Dawn is typically every other week. Next week, or our next episode, will kind of possibly be a bit weird or a bit late because I'm going on vacation, which I need because I need a good vacation. But you can find our show on Twitter at DohMance on the Twitter, or you can go to our website, DohMance Dawn, where it's on Tumblr. And if you enjoy the show, please leave us a review. Please tell your friends about us. And if you want to submit character ideas for the next episode, keep an eye out, because, you know, I want people to come correct, and I want to get to a point where one of y'all digs up a character that fits so much better than anything that I picked.
Sorry about Yes Guy. He's probably going to be a good fit for another one.
And also sorry about John, but there is also going to be a very good fit for John.
I'm also sorry that, Luke, I said that we weren't friends. We very much are, and I value your friendship.
I appreciate that, John. All right. Well, that wraps us up for this episode. We'll see you next time when we got to deal with some dragon stuff, and I'll see how they translated the jokes, because oofa doofa. If what I think is still on the Netflix and general subs, it's going to be a time. Until we see you in the future, safe sails.
Thank you.